1 year on, and researchers from Stanford University have suggested that support for the BLM movement in the U.S. has dropped, while according to a recent survey, 75% of Americans believe the country is, quote, racist. Now, to talk through these issues, we go live to Christopher Harris, Executive Director of Unhyphenated America. Christopher, thanks a lot for joining us on the program. The first question, no problem. The first question I have for you is, why do you think we're seeing a decline in support for the BLM movement 1 year on from George Floyd's killing?
Well, it's because sunlight. The Black Lives Matter movement has been exposed to the cleansing light of day, and people are realizing that they're basically just a bunch of Marxists who are out there fleecing the public. Billions of dollars in donations that they've received, and there's plenty of cases to show and prove that the leaders of Black Lives Matter movement are just a bunch of Marxists who are out there fleecing people, buying mansions and going on shopping trips with all the money that they've been given, supposedly to help foster. Well, first of all, I don't even know what the money that they were given was supposed to help do. All I know is they're spending money on mansions and trips and vacations and luxury clothes and all that. But this is what's happened. People have become aware that they're a false movement. And here's the thing I just got to say. You know, if you go back to 1997, the New York Times op-ed did a poll, and they found that in the United States, most people, particularly minorities, did not believe that racism was a major issue in the United States. You fast forward to today, and what you see is the people driving the idea that racism is the biggest issue are mainly white people. Right? Black people, yes. Do black people realize that racism is an issue? Of course. Anyone with half a brain realizes that racism is an issue. It will always be an issue, but it is not the issue. The only people pushing it that it's the issue are white Democrats.
Okay, well, we've talked about how the popularity of BLM has gone down, but what do you think the BLM protests have changed in society or achieved in general?
They've achieved nothing except destruction of private property and the loss of lives. I mean, they want to talk about George Floyd, for example. It's a shame. Obviously, Mr. Floyd shouldn't have died, but is the issue police brutality? No, it's not. And it's certainly not a racist issue, because Tony Tempa died in 2016. The police he had a similar issue, drug-induced problem. He actually called the police himself because he was having a schizophrenic moment. The police came, arrested him. They put their knee on his back for 14 minutes. He died in their custody. And guess what? It didn't really make the major news. Why? Because Tony Temple was a white guy and George Floyd was a black guy, and it's easier to use George Floyd's death as a wedge issue to spark all the racism, the riots, and everything that we've seen happen in the United States of America. If the police are an issue, which they are an issue, then we need to address the laws that are leading to more police interaction. There are more homicides taking place in the United States of America than ever before. Why is that? It's because it serves the interest of one group of people, the Democratic Party. And who's pushing that? It's white liberals, white leftists, white Democrats who are pushing the issue.
Let's take the conversation into the realm of the current administration. I mean, at his inauguration, Joe Biden gave a message of unity, right, to Americans. Do you think that we're seeing a more unified America under Biden, or more divided? And how does his relation to the Black Lives Matter movement, how did it affect that?
The Biden administration is basically led by a bunch of Marxists. That's who's behind the scenes, pulling the strings. And it's despicable, quite frankly, that they would use the Black Lives Matter flag and fly it over U.S. consulates and envoys and all the other places around the world that are representing the United States, that the State Department would authorize flying the Black Lives Matter flag. It's absolutely despicable. When you consider that the United States, one of our mottos is e pluribus unum, out of many, one. This administration is trying to take us from being one United States into many people, basically the things that the Unhyphenated America fights against. They're trying to push black against white, black against Asian, white against Asian, old against young, rich against poor. They're trying to use hyphens to divide us. They don't want us to be the United States of America, and they're exporting that overseas by putting the Black Lives Matter flag over U.S. consulates and embassies.
Christopher Harris, Executive Director of Unhyphenated America. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Thank you.